Hey everyone, and welcome back to What the Flag. Look, I've got to hold my hands up here and give massive props to the team, Kenny, Yaz, of course, producers Matt and Blessing, for staying up. We are recording now at 11 p.m. because of their dedication to me working today. I'm out in the States, and everybody else is actually in the UK. At some point, we will all be in the same place at the
One
same
day.
time. One day, Yaz, you are only freshly back in the UK. So go on, tell us what's going on in your life.
So I have been really, my team are really lovely and they sent me home because I've been very homesick this week. So we had a really busy weekend. We had our second playoff game against Pittsburgh Passion on Saturday just gone, and it was a wild weekend. We traveled on the Friday. I had been really sick during the week. I had my first experience of a vitamin IV drip on the Friday because they were trying to make me well again for the game on Saturday. And then we played Pittsburgh on Saturday. It was their home game. We were at a new venue. I can't even remember what the venue was called. And Pittsburgh's crowd were out in absolute force. There were so many of them there. They had the band, they had a really good DJ, they had all of their fans waving flags. They all stood up at the gate as we walked in, sort of like eyeing us out. It was a sight to behold. And then we we played the game and it was I don't know what it was. Like Pittsburgh was so dominant in the first half. It was they basically scored at least once a quarter. By the time it got to half time, it was I want to say it was 7-14. And then in the third quarter, they kind of ran away with the score, got up to 34. And we came back to literally beat them in the fourth quarter. I think
Let's go.
it was wild. The last score was literally with 1 minute and 2 seconds on the clock. And then we got to sort of like the end of the game. We got a rather controversial flag, which gave Pittsburgh the ball back. It was a PI. And it gave Pittsburgh the ball back, and honestly, really thought they had it. Chavez is a really, really good and very nippy QB. And she had the ball. She kind of played what the WFA called hero ball, and she was like, "I'm going to take this ball and I'm going to go." But yeah, to no avail. So DC Divas are conference champs and on their way to join Phoebe in Ohio for the championship.
That's huge. That's huge. Congratulations. You because you did it. Your starting running back was injured, no?
Yeah, so Sarah had broken her ankle. She broke her ankle in two places when we were in training. It's sod's law, isn't it? The week
Yeah.
before a game that, your last tackle practice for full contact. So yeah, she broke her ankle. So very much we very much had to change sort of our packages. We usually have three packages, including Sarah. But now we have two. So we have the power package, which is Whitney and Carrie, who are our really super strong fullbacks slash running backs. And then we have our speed package, which is Moni and Ching, who are small and hit those gaps so fast that us linemen need to speed up. So
Nice, nice.
that was sort of like our plan going into it. And then obviously we had Amanda. Amanda's got a great arm on her, so when the time comes, she's always ready to put that ball in the air, much
Sling
to
it.
her O-line's annoyance. But no, she was
It sounds like a really good one-two punch, like having the power package and then the speed package, and you can just utilize them. So that's
yeah,
been, yeah, it sounds so cool. It sounds like it was a proper nail biter of a game as well,
it
which
was. I
which
mean, it
is,
got to the third quarter, and like I won't lie to you, I was very convinced I was going home. Like I
oh
was like,
wow.
that's it. Like I was already packed because it would have had to be such a quick turnaround for me to come back. So I was sort of like going out there, like you kind of already pack because either way, I knew it was going to be a really busy week, whether we won or not. It
Mhm.
was always going to be busy. So I think literally by the third quarter, I was like, that was it. Because I was looking at the score, it was 7-34. And I was like that's ball game. And you always, underestimate the power of momentum in games like this. And, once you get that first score, then the defense is giving you a hand and then you get a chance to score again and again. And we were just really lucky. Like I know a lot of teams say, we're a second half team. Divas are really a second half team. Like I've never seen it. I've never seen a team, pull it out of the bag like that. And it was great. And then, everyone was celebrating. Um, and yeah, we're on our way to the championship, like it's great feeling.
That's huge. Can you give us a prediction for the final, please, real quick?
I don't know.
No, I need to not be the one with the controversial quotes all the time. So throw out a number. We're gonna put it all on socials.
I think
And
it's gonna be another close game. I'm gonna
okay.
say something like 21-23.
Ooh,
I think it's gonna be
ooh.
really close. I actually
Okay.
think it might be a field goal that swings it in either direction. St. Louis are a really good team. Um, yeah, we will see what happens. I think it's gonna be close. It's not gonna be a runaway game.
Okay,
That way.
okay. That's
I
gonna
think
be
it's gonna be close.
exciting. It sounds yeah,
So,
sounds really cool. Congratulations, congratulations. Looking forward to
thank
it.
you.
And obviously, of course, like we always wish you all the best because it's just I think the adventure is one thing, but to go out there and potentially win it all would be just amazing.
I know
Absolutely amazing.
it puts great sort of pressure on my retirement scheme. It's
Yeah.
it's come around sooner than I anticipated.
What retirement scheme? You can't, that's not on the
Um,
cards. That's not over there.
no. But yeah, how have you guys a week been? Like, fill me in. I know I'm not definitely not the only one who's had a crazy week. So I don't know, Kenny or Phoebe, take the mic.
Yeah, it's
Who's
got to be Phoebe because so wait, sorry, just backtracking. You when do you go to Canton for the finals?
can we travel on a Thursday?
And you're there now, Phoebe.
Yeah, so basically the next weekend they're doing WFA are doing flag and a tackle
They
game
are,
as
yes, yes.
well in Canton at the Hall of Fame. Even earlier today, having some gold jackets walking around, it's been pretty cool to see and knowing that you literally have like history over there, the next class of people being inducted. I'm here in Canton now with the NFL Flag Championships. I feel like I've been in the States for an awfully long time, but all with flag football. So last weekend, our GB team had camp in Leominster, Massachusetts. We got to play in a multitude of competitions. So we did basically like USA flag rules on the Saturday. We played against the 17U boys of Leominster on the Friday. Then we did game day on the Saturday, which was fun because it's different rules. Three to get halfway, another three to score. And then on the actual Sunday, we played in the our friends, Mikey Remel and Matt Remel, they had
Mhm.
a Flag Football Life We Run the World tournament in New England. And we got to see, all the way from 10U through to adult playing. And we won that one as well, which was great. So, yeah, came home with two rings, which was phenomenal. Well, not come home yet. Left with two rings. The team went back to the UK, but honestly, it was probably the best thing for us. It was great for us bonding. Um, because we literally fly out on the 5th of August to head out to China for the World Games and then off to Canton, Ohio. And that's where I am now. I'm out here with ESPN and the team. We're covering high school girls and 14U boys. So it's been a full on day. Today was the first day of games. We had four. Tomorrow we're going to have more high school girls and the boys, but then also international games for the semifinals and the finals that we're going to cover. So 8 different countries out here. And I got to say, Puerto Rico, China, Japan, Mexico, those seem to be our top four at the moment. So it's
Thing.
been tight. It's been exciting, but it's seeing everybody. It's seeing again 8U and boys all through, to 14U. And then for girls, we've got 10U all the way through till high school and it's pretty cool to see. The only thing I'd say, and I'm throwing my question into the world, this is a pretty big weekend for flag football, and USA Football have put on a national program on the same weekend, which I find very fascinating because it kind of stops people, idols, right? Your Ashley Clams, your Izzy Grachis, all those, and the men as well, right? From being able to come to an event like this. So that was a
What
bit disappointing.
you say fascinating, and that's just wrong. What so do we know why? Do we know so I mean because I think in all the different walks in trying to organize, whether it's flag tournaments or national programs or whatever, you're always going to come up against this hurdle where there's like there's not enough weekends in the year.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be clashes, but surely the NFL flag finals in Canton is like because in fairness, it used to be in and around the Pro Bowl, just before the Super Bowl. But this is the third year, I think. In
So this is the second year. So this is actually,
okay.
so we now have two different events a year. You've got
Mhm,
your Pro Bowl championships, which always happen around Pro Bowl, and
mhm.
then we've got these kind of NFL flag championships, which the NFL have taken under its wing, essentially made one of its tentpole events. So tentpole being Super Bowl, draft, Pro Bowl, those are all tentpole events. So they've really been
For those English speakers, it's flagship events. I don't know
flag,
what it's
but it's
Layman's terms.
yeah.
layman's terms. Sorry.
But to give credit where it's due, it's been a really great event. Like
Mm.
all the sponsors are showing up big. There's a tent that you can go in that does fades and braids. So you've got like
Ooh.
kids getting their fades done, all the boys getting, whoever getting their fades done, and then the girls getting their braids. You can design sweatbands. They've got tattoos of all the teams. They have, the zombies walk the new zombies movie, whatever from Disney. It has like a whole sit and chill room with like chargers, and you can just hang out in the AC. Like when the teams get here, they have a huge experience. So they've created this experience where I'm checking in as a team and then I get walked to a like stage, like a locker room staged area that has all the kit laid out for the kids. I mean, it's done so well. And then you go to an actual stage where they call your name, they announce you, you get a walk-on song, you get to talk to the crowd. Like
That's
it's
amazing.
super, everything is bigger, better. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's not done by half. But I mean, to be fair, but these teams have earned the right to be here this weekend, right? It's not just free, like,
They've been competing in regionals all year long. So
mm,
I'm using Leominster as an example. They won the Green Bay regional because they went out to Green Bay to compete in that regional. And so then, therefore, Green Bay send them here. Or Texas Fury won the Houston Texans regional. So therefore, they're here representing the Texans.
okay.
And so that's what makes it quite cool. The Jags, all the teams are represented and are competitive, which is, you're looking for the best of the best ultimately to be out here and be on this huge stage. So it's been, yeah, it's been full on, but it's been super cool to just see
That's
how much the
huge.
talent has improved.
That's really cool. Really, really cool. Is there anyone to look out for? I know you've only been
Yeah.
scouting a couple of days, but like,
I mean, I think it's a no-brainer to not talk, like, it'd be crazy to not talk about one of the kids. He plays for Jags, Bryson Wright. He's had 9 Div 1 like scholarship offers already.
Wow.
And again, he's a 14U kid. So that goes to show you, I mean,
uh,
there are young boys that are standing around waiting for his autograph, and then there's kids like who he's playing against who want his autograph. So, and at the age of 14. So he's been phenomenal. Um, there's a few of the 15U girls players who are here as well competing. We've got 6 Team USA players playing within our high school age group. And, you're looking at teams that we're familiar with, Athena, who have Kira Quinn. They've got Tessa Wheelock, who are phenomenal. Some of our old kind of friends, essentially. We've got the Conquer Chargers, Ryan Bertoni, who's kind of a lifelong friend of ours, who has just done a phenomenal job. But they lost 3 players to injury in the past 2 weeks, but they
wow.
still managed to win. So every game is exciting. THT had to play THT first thing this morning and knocked one of the other ones out because it's win or go home. It's a really big deal. So yeah, everything on the line, and it's just going to get more and more exciting.
It sounds amazing. That whole concept of if you lose, you're out, one and done. Like imagine waking up on a Friday morning, you play your game at 9 a.m. and you get beat, and that's it. That's you for the weekend. You travel to,
Playoffs
it's
every day.
every single day. But I think that's what you get as a result of having so many teams and so many, like you can't really afford to have all the placement games that we would do, or
You
all
can't go
the you
tournament
just
style for the whole thing.
no
You'd
no
be
no
there for
no
ages.
yeah, be there forever. So it sounds amazing, and I think having seen some of that, the experiential piece. It's 11 p.m., so I can say my words however I like. It's always such a fascinating thing to see how far they go, to make it such an experience for the because it's not the kids won't remember every little bit, but they'll remember how they felt, and that's kind of what one of the things we always talk about. Like it's giving those core memories and those core feelings, and
Hmm.
just like whatever you're coming from, wherever you're coming from, like in this moment for this time, like well done. Like it's all about you, and that's super cool. That's super super cool. Yeah.
And it was great to see, you always do interviews with players after the game. You've got so much access to all the athletes here. And almost every group of players was, hey, what are you going to do tonight after this big win? Because they're done for the day. They're not coming back till tomorrow. And it's, hang out with the team, eat food, relax a little bit, and watch film. And so that watching film piece is
Boo.
ingrained at such an early age. You've got to watch film. I mean, it's
Ah,
Kenny only
what
watches
fun.
highlights of his best plays at Stallions.
absolute facts on repeat. I need to get the views on YouTube up as well. So no 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 no. Sorry, I think film is such a cool thing, right? Because especially in this day and age where especially at grassroots level, you can have a fairly inexpensive camera setup or whatever, and it just goes through. But I just for me as a coach in flag, I prefer to feel the game first. Like rather than going back and watching film, I'd rather go on how the game felt to me. I don't know if that makes any sense at all.
But sometimes how it feels is not reality. And that's why I think film is so critical because you could have felt like, man, this was a really bad game for us, and we couldn't move the ball. But actually, you watch film back and you think, ooh, this wasn't as bad as I thought. Oh, we were averaging 6, 7 yards a play. Maybe it isn't as terrible as we thought it was. And I don't need to be so hard on these players.
Uh, I think a lot of people are actually just delusional. They're not. They don't. If you're able to see reality, then no.
That is insane.
I know what you mean. So it's interesting for me. I don't. Some coaches finish and they have to go and watch the film, right? Film is. I use it to. In fairness, I use it to either support or challenge how I felt the game went, or how I and generally it's great for the things I missed
Yeah.
in the game, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm proper selling myself. But I think because I think I have such a keen sense of how the play should work, and what happened in the play and so on and so forth, like or over the course of a game or a couple of games or whatever, or hey, wait, like that second drive, something felt uncomfortable, and I can go and check the film to see why it felt that way. But in my opinion, like football, sport has to be more is way more of an art than a science. People have anyone that's joined on the coaching course will hear me say this, but like it's more of an art than a science. Like I think it's more based around creativity and feel and being able to adapt in a moment rather than being um super scientific or stats based or so when some coaches are like get all the percentages out after a game. Like percentage of this went into the left third, into the middle third, into the right third, and so on and so forth. And hey, it's 2025. If that's you, do you. It's okay. There's no judgment here at all. But I just think I worry that those coaches don't trust themselves.
In what way? Trust themselves to do what?
They don't trust what they see. They need the stats to back them up.
I hear it. I think film is only as useful as the person watching it.
Ooh,
If you don't know how to use film, then you might as well just sit down and watch a movie. But I think too many people watch film without the intention of what they're actually going to get from it. And I think that's that's the issue, I think. Like maybe some people don't find the value in film because they don't use it to their advantage.
What's the intention you should be trying to get from film?
Well, for me as an O lineman, it's always to look at my opponent. So it's to see, who I'm going up against, what they look like when they play against players. Are there any key moves that I should look out for? Like, do they swim? Do they try and rip through? Do they just like stiff arm and try and ride the edge really hard? Like stuff like that is really important. Do they have a blitzing linebacker? Like if we're trying to run a certain scheme, do I have to look out for an extra player? Um, stuff
See
like that.
everything you just said, yeah?
Mm.
It's why I love flag. Don't have to worry about none of that. What? What?
I mean, when you said the whole art thing, I was like, you're definitely either a skill position or B, a flag player. Because when you
Oh,
were like, oh, it's an art, like not necessarily a science. I kind of was like, I see where you're coming from, but I feel like there's a lot of like my position personally that is all down to science.
don't
Like,
you
if you
don't see
don't
the
have the
art in what you do
I do see
in
the art,
oh,
absolutely.
okay,
But if you
okay.
don't have the science, there is no art.
Boss.
Because O-line is
I
all based on
disagree. I
physics.
disagree, but
Oh.
boss.
Why'd you disagree? Go on, Kenny.
You just said I just to not to misquote you. You just said without the science there is no art.
Hmm.
So someone, one of the coaches that what he was a player actually, Martin, said he calls it a social science. So it's like being like it's where the art and science kind of meet. I'm like that's a cop out. You're sitting on the fence. Pick one, art or science. The reason for me is I had this conversation with Coach Dean from MK Dons, he's a soccer coach, right? But we were talking about the techniques they try to teach the kids and whatever. And I asked him, hey, like, do any of the kids ever show up and just intuitively know all the skills that you're trying to teach, or and they just know it, do you know? And he said it's very rare, but there's one or two, and that's where without the scientific piece, that artistry is there, that creative element, that ability to you know Jackie Chan in old school movies, be at one with the water kind of thing, and just like be able to flow with. Thierry Henry says like do what the game is asking of you.
Mm.
Do you know? I don't think that necessarily you can't always teach that.
No, I agreed. But
You
then
know, and
that's where I
that's
think our positions differ. Because I would say that in my position, in order to get the artistry, you have to have the science, which is all the technique.
uh,
O-line is about physics. Blows my mind.
I feel like I'm letting all the skill positions down if I agree with you. I don't know.
But it might not be a case of agreeing. It might be a case of like each position is like exclusive in the way in which they
So, and please don't misunderstand me. Any skill position, DB, like there's a lot of physics, a lot of science, a lot of like
O-line is
mechanics.
also a skill position.
Yeah, but, again, I don't know.
Requires
I
lots of
get it.
You knew that was coming.
Doo-doo-doo. I like to think I did all skill positions first. No, no, no. I hear what you're saying. I just think you can teach things, but more than another example I use all the time is there's a story about a particular set of coaches. I can't remember which country. The country was either Russia or China, if memory serves. And this story was being told by an Australian coach they were working in gymnastics, right? And they were teaching some sort of complex move. I don't know. I know less a little about gymnastics at all, right? But they were doing some sort of complex move. And when the gymnasts would try this move or whatever on the bars, all the coach would say was the two things the coach would say was, did you feel it? And again, like as in go again, right? Those were the only two things. Because in as much as that's all physics and all, hey, if you get your swing here and like at the end of the day, for them and the way they were trying to coach that piece, it was all around the feel and did you feel how your body reacted to the motion and did you feel,
It's
you
like
know,
muscle
and
memory though, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're looking to get you're looking for someone to feel that action and then be able to repeat that feeling.
Mhm.
So it's still science, it's just how you word it. I mean, we always talk about it like people in the NFL, people who play for their national program, they're all experts at what they do. They're, and you watch them and you're like, man, it just makes it look easy. But actually, it's just repeatedly doing the same thing over, which is science ultimately, right? I mean, you're
Oh,
just,
but so what do you say to the people, not just who say we learn the rules, but we learn how to do the things so that we can break the rules. You learn the rules so you can break them. Have you heard that saying before?
I
You've heard that,
have, yes,
yeah.
but I would again say it just doesn't apply. It doesn't. I don't think it applies to my position. But it might apply to like yours. I think this is where like in football everyone plays a position that is so different and yet so integral to a team. I don't
Hmm.
think you can give one blanket statement and it applies to all positions. I think it applies to an extent, like what you're saying. Like I agree there is an element of artistry there. But if you leave O-line down to just artistry, you're just having a big person push a big person. Just because you can push someone into the ground, that does not make you a good O-lineman. You need the science and you need the technique in order to make you that good O-lineman. And in turn, that beautiful technique that you have makes you an artist because it looks beautiful. If you get an O-line that is all in sync and they all take that first step on their together, there is a perfect clip at Worlds against Canada where the whole O-line take a step and everyone is the same level, going the same direction. The step is like the same like distance. It is phenomenal. But that takes so much work to get there, like so much technique. But that has only come as a result of all of the science that has been put in. There is no O-lineman without science is just a big person pushing a big person over, and that is not helpful. I don't care what anyone
Can,
says.
can I just
Go for it.
can I just say I think so there's a difference, and I think where we're crossing wires there maybe there's a difference between technique and science.
But I think technique is science.
Picasso with
I
his with
like
his
it.
with his paintbrush has great technique. I wouldn't argue that's necessarily scientific.
But that's art though.
That's my point. So technique goes with art, but it's not necessarily science.
But why is technique not science? We're going very
Because I just
philosophical
no,
here.
I just gave you the the perfect
Technique's not
example.
science because you don't like Picasso. Hmm.
I like Picasso. I feel like I'm being accused of. I like Picasso. What's it? He's never hurt anyone. No, I
Kenny,
think.
we should have a separate podcast where we just argue.
so I've looked up what science actually, the definition of it is.
Mhm.
Science is the systematic study of the structure and behavior of the physical and natural world through observation, experimentation, and the testing of theories against the evidence obtained. Which I would
I
still
don't know if
say,
he's helped me or you.
It's not. I had to be careful.
I
I
was
like
waiting for one of us to
who's
turn around
gonna
and be
speak
like,
first? Yeah.
yes.
say it with your chest and nobody will question it.
So does that support my argument or go against it?
I mean, it depends on like how English literature you want to get into it. Technically, it supports both of our arguments. You could argue that theories are the practices that a coach puts into place. You could also argue that a theory is something that you just want to try, like when you just want to try that blue on a piece of paper when you're painting Starry Night, Picasso.
See what you did there. I see what you did there. No, but yeah, yeah. I think ultimately, and I know we're going back and forth here. Ultimately, you need a mix of the two. Can we agree on that?
Yes,
Yeah, okay, we
agreed.
can agree there. But art's better.
Oh, but
Depends
if
on
we
what your favorite subject in school was.
No, no. I prefer business to be honest. But yes, but I think there's artistry in that as well. That's a conversation for another time.
Ooh,
but if
ooh.
we bring it all the way back to the question around film, I if we all remember that's where we started here.
Whoopsies.
I think that film is integral into being able to improve, especially when you're watching, when you start getting more technical in flag, right? You're looking at two quarterback, three quarterback work. it gives you an opportunity to study, come up with solutions, what a game plan is. I'm not saying you have to stick with game plan A, but perhaps then you've got a backup to that game plan because you've been able to see, hey, they might do this. A lot of flag plays, they're not totally dissimilar to one another, but you might see one or two things that show up and you want to have an answer to it, a funny formation, something like that. So I think that's where film can play a really big role. Same defenses. What are some tells of my opponent? If we're really looking at the details of the other athletes on the other side of the ball, some people don't even realize they've got tells. I always use I'm calling out Marta because she's on my team. I always use her as an example.
Friendly fire here.
Friendly, I tell her all the time, but when she starts to go make a cut, her shoulders come up. And it's just something like that you study from watching film of each other as well. And honestly, I love watching film of myself because then I can also see where I need to improve. Yeah. Because sometimes the feeling isn't actually giving you the right feedback. Or if you don't have a coach around you, or maybe a coach who's not seeing it, sometimes if you just watch it of yourself, you can improve as well. Soon, ChatGPT is going to do it all for us. We'll just enter it in and be like, tell us what.
You can actually do it now if you ask.
I refuse to be put out of a job by ChatGPT. But but it's very interesting that there's two sides to the film there in terms of one is like kind of review of yourself and your team or whatever. And then the other is from a scouting standpoint. So to be very, very clear, I don't personally. I'm like, if there's an opportunity to scout an opponent that's coming up, I would absolutely take that. But even in doing that, I think sneaking back just quickly to the science piece quickly, I'm not watching them and looking for percentages or whatever. I'm watching them to get a feel for how they move and stuff. And look, that was it. And I'm running back out of that.
Anyone knows how Kenny likes to get the last word?
No. I ran back out. I went in. I came back out. I didn't stay in there.
Kenny, catch me outside on next episode.
But I think it's also key, and I'm going to play some mind games with some upcoming coaching opponents here. But I absolutely love it when coaches or other teams watch film of like my team's previous games or previous plays, because I'm hoping that especially if they do, and we had this conversation with some of the coaches out in Turkey around this, but it's like there's that the movie about magicians, Now You See Me.
Yeah.
Both of them. There's a line in there that's like, the more you look, the less you see, kind of thing. Like, and I'm like, yeah, go and watch all the film. Please go and watch all the film, because if you really watch the film.
But that's the tactic, right? I mean, that's ultimately the game within the game, the chess match that you're playing. I'm going to continue to run the same play out of the same formation time and time again. And when you least expect it, I'm going to add a little wrinkle off the top of it. But you're betting on the fact that coach has studied or seen or remembered that you run these plays exactly that. They call it out. And then, boom, it's something else. So it's, again, but that's film. Or if we're saying film is memory, or however we want to word that all kind of comes full circle, just like this conversation, because we finally made it back to the beginning of our film conversation. And it is now 20 to midnight. So I am going to let you two go to sleep. I'm going to get some more studying done. But for everyone else at home, make sure that you like, subscribe, you ring the bell, and make sure just follow us. We want you in our lives. Message, we got Team Japan being represented. And
Is a coaching announcement? Because I know they changed their staff. No, joking. You didn't hear it here first, guys.
Thank you all so much for joining us on What the Flag. We'll see you next week for some more flag fun.